stories, Kukui, what do you have for us
Lots
today?
of papers. Okay, the Daily Graphic front page, improving street lighting, Energy Ministry and GSA to the rescue. Also, government reviews tax exemption regime, and Parliament is poised to pass pending bills, the Speaker assures us. Also on the back page, Ketu Hospital gathering dust.
Oh.
We'll have to talk about that, yes. And NADMO commiserates with family. The family, there were 7 people who were electrocuted last week. We heard that story. So NADMO has gone to commiserate with them.
I'm starting from the back page of the Ghanaian Times. NADMO urges Ghanaians to prepare for heavy rains from June to August. And from the front page of the Times, Ghana Health Service extends COVID-19 vaccination to Friday. 275,000 people so far receive second jab. Upper East Region records 1,639 teenage pregnancies in first quarter. CRI partners National Chief Imam to fight child abuse. 8 policemen allegedly extort 38,000 Ghana cedis from drivers. And 16 days more to the Green Ghana Let's Go planting day.
The Daily Guide, Jomoro MP hot for dual citizenship. Also, Nana meets Pan-African MPs. And Ochehene gives SHC, that State Housing Company, 200 acres of land. And MP gets 2 million Ghana cedis bail for $2.4 million fraud.
Now, the Finder newspaper, government to raise $1 billion $1 billion sustainable bonds to finance education, infrastructure, other social and environmental projects. MTN to pay 615 million Ghana cedis in dividends from 1.4 billion profit after tax in 2020. Tema Oil Refinery unveils plan to clear $400 million debts to turn around the refinery. Board awaits BOG report to act. This is the ARB Apex Bank and Tiast Group to help Ghana bite a share of the $55 billion global starch market.
The Herald, Ghanaians waking up to Akufo-Addo's tricks and impunity as Ghana Armed Forces hands over deadly specialized army unit to rogue soldier. Also, Bagman opens second meeting of 8th Parliament. NPP government blackmailing NDC MPs with double salary case from Martin Amidu. And NPA and GRA are helping some OMCs evade taxes.
Big story on the front page of the Chronicle. CID probes national security over raid at a hotel at Asankragwa and alleged theft of huge sums of money. 715 chase 55 MMDC positions in 5 regions. Mr. Minister, Nigerians in Ghana are broke. This is the High Commissioner. And Parliament to make a determination on Ablako's resignation.
The Daily Statesman, 2 million Ghana cedis bail for NDC MP in $2.4 million fraud case. Ochehene offers 200 acres of land to SHC for free. And fear grips small-scale miners in Western region.
The New Crusading Guide has the Ochehene story. Tackling housing deficit. Ochehene offers 200 acres of land to the State Housing Company. Khadija husband hot as a Kumfi Infantiman residents kick against them over school feeding scandal. This is related to the race for DCE MCE. And Foreign Ministry marks AU 58th anniversary. Techiman South MP fulfills campaign promise, provides water to communities. And Movement for Baumia 2024 launches online TV.
NDC fraud MP hot hangs on 2 million Ghana cedis bail. Let's work to make Africa stronger. This is from President Akufo-Addo. Government bans ministers, CEOs, and MMDCEs from using sirens. And 715 people are chasing 55 MMDCE positions in the northern parts of the country.
The Republic Press has an update from the Kolibu Black Thief story. The story says they've been granted a 20,000 Ghana cedi bail. Galamsey is a leadership crisis. This is Professor Joseph Osafo speaking. Plot to oust Ofosuan Pofo thickens as mosquito warms up from the touchlines. And man grabbed over sex with 8-year-old stepdaughter. Now, Harry Naidusu is also speaking about unexplained wealth, and he says it must be criminalized in Ghana.
The Today newspaper says lamentations of a former BNI boss. Politicians are the cause of security excesses. And Amedu speaks again, picks issue with president.
The Informer, GIPC bleeds over massive chop, abandons free government office complex for annual rent of 3 million Ghana cedis. Enforcing political party law, you are equally guilty. EC fires at political parties, says 97% of parties won't exist if it enforces the law. And boost for industrialization as project to establish National Metrology Institute launched.
The Junior Graphic, raise fence wall to beef up security. This is the Junior Girls Correctional Center appealing for help to raise their wall. They say it's very insecure. Also, in the National Essay Competition for Junior Graphic, there are questions for upper primary and junior high school students in this edition, and he's in love with 4 girls. Yeah, interesting headline there. Okay, and BNFT, very quickly. The banks declare readiness to support businesses and respond quickly to government stimulus package, and loans will come. This is the Fidelity Bank CFO talking to businesses and other stories.
Let me take you online. CitiNewsroom.com. We will not support government's plans to increase road tolls. This is the minority. Also, Sisala chiefs petition roads minister over exclusion from EU-funded roads. In other stories, Komfanoche lab scientists to escalate 1 week sit-down strike from today. It's going to be a full-blown strike. Meanwhile, City Business News, TOR is not on the verge of collapse, according to management. Other stories, economist backs calls by IMF for government to prioritize progressive revenue mobilization. MyJoyOnline.com, 6 persons die in Kwehu Etibie accident. Also, Akufo-Addo told Attorney General not to prosecute MPs fingered in double salary investigations, Amidu alleges. And Ghana at the precipice of multiple crises under Akufo-Addo administration. This is Haruna Idrisu. Star FM, 6 mourners, including a child, perish in Nkoko Road crash. Also, headmistress prevents 5 pregnant people from writing BEC in the central region. And I didn't accept Okudjeto's resignation from appointments committee. This is Abam Bagbin. So watch out for that story and see how it evolves. If you go to GNA, government consoles families of fuel tanker accident victims. Also, let's work to make Africa stronger and united. This is Akufo-Addo. And other stories. Burning tanker displaces more than 100 people. Very serious indeed. So let's start with you, Kukui.
Let's start. You know, Brenna, there are a lot of pregnancy-related stories
Too
that
many.
we've seen.
Too
Can
many.
we just touch a couple of them? So in the Daily Graphic, the executive director of the National Population Council, Dr. Letitia Pia, has an article in here about food security, nutrition, and teen pregnancies. Now, also, if you go to page 13 in the graphic, the Central Region recorded 10,301 adolescent pregnancies last year. That's just the Central Regional.
10,000.
301 last year.
Wow.
Just the Central Region. And I know Kojo also has some numbers.
The Upper East region has recorded 1,639 in the first quarter of this year.
This is Q1.
Yes,
so if you multiply that by 4, you are getting close to around 8,000. Then if you have another one that's in the Central Region, headmistress prevents 5 pregnant people from writing BC. Let's do the Central Region story. I think it's interesting.
It is.
10,000?
10,000. The Central Regional Department of Gender has initiated moves to improve parental skills in a bid to enhance parent-adolescent relationships and reduce adolescent pregnancies in the region. Last year alone, they recorded 10,301 adolescent pregnancies. So the regional director of the Department of Gender, Ms. Richelov Amamu, says the large number was bad news for the region. Every effort is going to be made to reduce it. She was talking to group leaders, opinion leaders in the community, and she said good parent and adolescent relationships are important in molding the character of the adolescents. This is crucial. They want to promote that. Now, they had so many participants from different districts in the region, and she said they also need to help to reduce the incidence of defilement, rape, and consequent pregnancies. So they've also established the men and boys advocacy clubs to help them adopt more responsible sexual behavior.
Then if you go to the Upper East region, Kojo,
We are told that about 1,639 teenage pregnancies were recorded across the 15 municipal and district assemblies in the Upper East region within the first quarter of this year.
wow.
A midwife with the Bolgatanga Municipal Health Directorate, Madam Mary Azika, made a revelation during a review meeting of sexual and reproductive health and rights advocates, including 50 young people from 6 districts on Monday. The midwife, who expressed worry about the situation, noted that at the end of 2020, the region had recorded 6,533 cases, which placed the region 7th on the regional league table in the country.
Can I just add this one bit from here? Many of our young people are having sex with people because they are hungry. A lot of the young people say they have sex in exchange for tokens and gifts for their basic needs.
Meanwhile, the headmistress of a Futu MA basic school has prevented 5 final year pupils from writing BC because they are pregnant. According to the students, the headmistress, Evelyn Ifuapenyi, does not allow final year students who are pregnant to write final exams. One of the victims complained that the headmistress made us aware that she will not allow any pregnant student to write final exams. But I faulted and should not be prevented to write my final exams or from. Last year, she prevented a final year student from writing because she was pregnant. I don't want to stay at home. I want to write the exams and finish this year with my colleagues. I really don't understand why people who are pregnant can't write exams. Charlie, sometimes the system doesn't make sense. All right, now let's come to the road issues. So street lights and other issues of crashes.
Yes, indeed. So two state institutions, the Ministry of Energy and Ghana Standards Authority, are leading efforts to undertake a conformity assessment of the entire street lighting infrastructure in the country. This is the front page story in Daily Graphic. As a starting point, the meeting has been held between the two institutions. They've resolved to work together to ensure an improvement in street lighting. They're also going to engage other stakeholders. A street light conformity assessment is expected to begin next month, and this is according to the Director General of the GSA, Professor Alex Dodu. He says they're going to involve the National Road Safety Authority, Electricity Company of Ghana, and the Ghana Highway Authority, as well as representatives of private contractors.
On roads, could you quite a number of stories?
Yes, I'll take you to the Upper West region because this story is important for our full security.
It's a big story.
Sisala chiefs demand their fair share of 670-kilometer EU-funded roads in the Upper West.
Yep.
This story is on page 2 of the Finder, and the story says chiefs and farmers in the Sisala area of the Upper West region are demanding their fair share of the 35 million euro, 670-kilometer European Union-funded farm access roads project, which recently launched in the Upper West region. Data from the Regional Department of Agric showed clearly that the Sisala East, Wa East and Sisala West districts were the three leading producers of maize and other staple foods in the Upper West region and Ghana at large. Now, we are told that they produce over 100,000 metric tons of maize in 2019 alone. Now, the exclusion of the three districts from the project, which is aimed at improving interconnectivity between areas of production and market centers, according to the chiefs, was not only an aberration but a grave social injustice perpetrated against the people living in those areas. So the chiefs want their roads to
Now, Kojo, the grant is part of 160 million euro Ghana Agriculture Program Fund. Now, the roads are organized in three packages. Wa Municipal, Wa West, Nadoli, Kaliu, 235 kilometers. Jirapa, Laura, Dafiama, Busi, 210 kilometers. And then Nandom and Lambusi, Kani, 225. So the point is that these places also need roads. But I think the Sisala point is that they are a critical part, and we don't know what kind of arrangement went into this.
And if you think about cocoa roads that were constructed in the cities some time ago, and we left the cocoa growing areas, it should serve as a lesson for us to also look at how these areas produce about 100,000 metric tons of maize, and they are still not included.
Two more stories. We will not support government's plans to increase road tolls. This is a minority. Minority in parliament says they are resolved to oppose a supposed plan by government to increase road tolls again in a bid to fund road construction and maintenance. The ranking member of the committee governs, Kwame Agboja, said his side is interested in helping the government raise funds to support the sector, but will only do so if the government removes the cap it has placed on the road fund. Then there's another one. We are working on a draft bill to regulate road contractors' activities. This is the Chamber of Construction Industry. All this on citynewsroom.com. The Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry says it's putting together a draft bill to bring into fruition the Construction Industries Development Law to regulate the operations of road contractors in the country.
Now let's talk about more money, more infrastructure. The government wants to raise $1 billion in sustainable bonds to fund education infrastructure. Now, the story says the proceeds will help refinance domestic debt used for social and environmental projects, including loans taken to pay for education infrastructure on the back of the highly successful free senior high school program. The Minister of State designate at the Ministry of Finance, Charles Edubuahin, who disclosed this, said the demand for environmental, social, and governance type of bonds has boomed since the coronavirus pandemic. Yet so far, only a few sovereign issuers have sold them, including Chile and Ecuador.
Lots of issues to do with parliament and parliamentarians. Jomoro MP hot. This is to do with Dr. Safu Tofe. Then we have MP getting 2 million Ghana cedis bail for $2.4 million fraud. Then Martin Amidu's latest epistle and some issues to do with MPs there. Now, in the Herald newspaper, former special prosecutor has suggested that the Akufo-Addo government is holding members of parliament on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress hostage by blackmailing them with the double salary saga. Martin Amidu wrote in part in his statement, the politically inspired propaganda against my integrity, which sought to link my resignation to the failure or refusal of this irredeemably corrupt government for 4 whole years to deal with the simple offense of double salary or stealing, as the CID or police service put it, are false, infantile, and barefaced lies intentionally concocted and put out by the Office of the Attorney General to the unsuspecting public under the subheading Godfred Yeboah Dame. And it goes on and on and on. I guess we can deal with that a bit later on.
And then the two MPs.
The two MPs. So a resident of Nuba Pataba in the Jomoro district of the Western region has filed a writ at the Sekondi High Court challenging the NDC Member of Parliament for the area, Dr. Safutofe, to produce evidence of her renounced dual citizenship in court. According to the applicant, Joshua Kofi, the MP is not qualified to contest as the people's representative in the country's legislative assembly. He claims that she holds multiple nationalities, American and Ivorian, which violates the 1992 Constitution. But the MP denies that, but she said she did have Ivorian citizenship, which she had renounced.
Then there's another one, somebody getting 2.4 million.
Yes. You want to deal with that?
No,
one?
do that.
All right. Accra High Court yesterday granted 2 million Ghana cedis bail to an NDC MP, David Von D, who was charged by the Office of the Attorney General for allegedly defrauding a private company of $2.4 million. Yeah.
Let me go to the minority leader in parliament. He says that unexplained wealth must be criminalized in Ghana. Now, the story says the minority leader in parliament, Haruna Idrisu, has called for the passing of a new law that criminalizes unexplained wealth. According to him, such a law would help prevent corruption, graft, and other economic crimes in the country associated with government officials. And he told 3 News that there is increasing hardship in the country affecting ordinary Ghanaians. There is increasing cases of corruption and abuse of office, and that this law will help to check some of these issues.
Now, there's a story I wanted to bring you. Confanochi lab scientists to escalate 1 week sit-down strike to a full-blown strike. This is problematic. Now, leadership of the Confanochi chapter of the Ghana Association of Medical Lab Scientists, GAMLOS, say it will notify management of its decision to escalate the ongoing industrial action to a full-blown strike from today, Wednesday the 26th of May, if the 2 hematologists remain at post. Now, a week ago today, the medical lab scientists declared a sit-down strike over the posting of the 2 to the lab science department of the hospital. They told Citi News their next action would be to escalate the strike if management remains adamant to their demands. Now, chairman of the Confanochi chapter says they only rescind their decision should management heed their advice. Now, this story is something we'll focus on today to try and understand what's really going on and why lab scientists say they will strike nationally over the appointment of 2 people in one facility. Kojo.
Let's go to national security stories.
Can I slip in this hospital one? Just very quickly. Almost 2 years after the inauguration of the new municipal hospital in the Kitu North municipality in the Volta region, the facility is yet to be put into use. Now, on the back page of Daily Graphic, you can see some images. The place has an outpatient department, emergency unit with a waiting ambulance, a laboratory, rehabilitation center, an obstetric and neonatal unit, a surgical ward, general bed ward, and a mortuary. They are fully furnished. It also has an admin block, staff changing facility, kitchen, laundry unit, 7-unit, 2-bedroom staff accommodation, etc., backup power generators, and apparently for some reason, for 2 years, it is not being used.
So you mean we have a case of a K2 UGMC? A completed
hospital
which is
on
not
a
being
smaller
used.
level. Okay, let's go to some security stories. So Finder has the Today newspaper has a front page on security.
The Chronicle also has one. CID probes national security. And that's the big story for the Chronicle for today. The story by John Bediako says a team of crack detectives drawn from the headquarters of the CID of the Ghana Police Service have been dispatched to Asankragua in the Western region to conduct forensic investigation into the reported raid of a hotel by persons identified to have come from the National Security Secretariat in Accra. The raid of X&D Hotel and the subsequent rounding up of a number of Chinese nationals have left in its wake allegations of theft of huge amounts of money, which has become subject of dispute between the arresting officers and the suspects. An officer from the Ghana Immigration Service was also assaulted during the raid, and the detectives from the crime scene department of the Ghana Police Service are being backed by heavily armed personnel to carry out this particular investigation.
In the Today newspaper, lamentations of a former BNI officer. Politicians are the cause of security excesses. Now, former security operative of the BNI, now the National Investigation Bureau, Professor Martin Oting of Abebu, has bemoaned the processes of recruiting people into the country's security services, particularly the police. He worked under the late former President Jerry John Rawlings, and he disclosed that, quote, the interference of politicians in the recruitment processes of personnel into our security services is the cause of what we are witnessing today. Now, Professor Oting Abebu is currently the head of Department of Geography and Resource Development at University of Ghana. He says the process lacks positive vetting. He's urging Ghanaian politicians to stop meddling in the affairs of our security.
Let me take you to Tor. Story from City Business News. Tema Oil Refinery not on verge of collapse according to the management. Now, The management of TOR has refuted claims that it's on the verge of a shutdown due to debt owed some utility providers in the country. Some media reports had suggested that the Ghana Water Company had cut water supply to TOR for close to a month due to its inability to pay accumulated water bills that amounted to about 4 million cedis in arrears. It was also alleged that TOR owed ECG about 2.3 million cedis. MD of the company has also been accused of engaging new workers despite the financial challenges TOR is facing. But TOR in a statement, however, denied this claim, saying the company is currently taking some measures to ensure its strategic turnaround. There's more, I'm sure, in the business news segment.
Okay, now.
The president is blasting people who use their sirens without cause. So, for the avoidance of doubt, the notice on the ban of the use of sirens covers government appointees, including honorable ministers and deputy ministers, regional ministers and deputy regional ministers, MMDCEs, CEOs of government agencies, and officials of the presidency. Any vehicle outside the president's head of state's vehicle or motor vehicle by fire service, ambulance or hospital or clinic, or a motor vehicle used by other recognized security agencies, or a bullion vehicle, if it is not any of those vehicles, you are in contravention of the law and you are liable for prosecution if you use a siren.
2 stories, headlines from the police front. 8 policemen allegedly extort 38,000 from drivers. This happened in Accra.
38,000. I want the details,
yes,
please.
The story says that Accra Regional Police Command has commenced investigations into the alleged extortion by 8 police personnel. The policemen are reported to have extorted 38,000 Ghana cedis from 2 drivers at separate locations. The investigations were directed by the regional police commander. Now, speaking on this issue, DSP Efiatenge said that last Friday, a complainant who was on board an Uber vehicle from Medina to airport reported at the Kaneshie police that 5 armed policemen intercepted the vehicle at UPSA Road,
Look at that.
asked the Uber to leave, and forced him to transfer 20,000 Ghana cedis into a Momo account.
Policemen.
And then abandoned him to his fate. Yes.
Hey.
And DSP Tenge said a similar report was made at the Achimota police station indicating that the complainant was driving his unregistered Mercedes-Benz with trade plates from Ashoman to the Legon hospital. The police PRO said when the complainant reached Hacho branch of EcoBank off the Atomic Medina Road, 3 policemen using a service vehicle stopped him, searched his car, accused him of being a cyber fraudster, and arrested him, and took 18,000 Ghana cedis from them. They actually escorted him to Silver Star Towers at airport and forced him to withdraw 18,000 Ghana cedis from his bank account with ATM for them.
So this is
what the police
police who have become robbers.
Yes.
Similar
in
to police
the SARS
uniform
thing in Nigeria.
This is newspaper review. Coming up next is the Citi Business News. You're listening to Citi FM. Please stay with us.